Take it from Tara. Parkinsons Support Center.
Thank you to Caroline Knopp, our fabulous producer, camera operator, and clapboard operator as well. That was awesome, Caroline. One of your best yet. Thank you so much. Welcome to this beautiful Monday of Thanksgiving week, and we are all extraordinarily grateful for what we have. And I know that a lot of you are working very hard also to make sure that this Thanksgiving week means something particularly great to you. And I think that's probably the thing that really matters, is how we can make everybody be as grateful as they possibly can for the gifts that we have been given. So I'm a little bit concerned, Caroline, at this moment that I'm not hearing sound. So I know Rebecca Eves is watching. So Rebecca, tell me if you actually are hearing me, because she'll respond. She's very good at doing that too. Because usually we have the ability to let people know very quickly. People start saying no sound, but we'll find out very quickly.
Yeah, so far so good.
Can you hear it on your phone?
I cannot on my phone. My little 4G, no.
You can't hear it?
Well, I can't even.
You can't even tune it in?
No.
Honey, we got to get you a new phone.
Yes.
That's absolutely crazy. I can't figure that out for the life of me. Why in the world are you not able to? Makes any difference. Okay, whoever is tuning in, I need you to tell me
We
if
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, they say we can hear you.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.
So all's good.
Love that. All
Yeah.
right, we're good. Sounds wonderful.
Gary George, thanks.
Hey,
Gary George.
oh, good. Kevin Hale says game changer. That's good. Thanks, Eric. I'm really grateful
Sound.
to you. Yeah, thank you so much. That's fantastic. So anyway, here's the deal. This is Arthur says, you sound good to me. Arthur, you would tell us that we sounded good if we were jumping up and down in our pajamas. So thank you so much for that. Rita O'Hearn-Smith, welcome. Glad you're here. So let me introduce the crowd. Erica Branch, the lovely lady in between the gentlemen here, is the Executive Director of the Parkinsons Support Center for Louisville. We appreciate you being here. Jeff Stum has Hector's CBD.
That's correct.
Thank you for coming in to talk to us about the benefits of CBD for folks who are living with Parkinson's.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, other things too. And Steve Walsh, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you.
Here.
You are an individual living with Parkinson's, and you are going to undergo an amazing surgery, and he's been talking to me about it. And I'm just like, do you think they'll let me watch? This is the coolest. This is the coolest thing ever, and I'm really excited to hear about it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. It's called DBS, or Deep Brain Stimulation.
Deep brain stimulation. Think about
And
that.
the idea is to provide a constant stimulation of the brain so that it produces a constant level of dopamine. If you're watching on the phone, you may notice my hands tremor, my left hand tremors, and this is despite the fact that I've timed all my meds so that I would be at my best behavior.
That's really good. That's important to know too, that you can
So-
actually do that and you get the kind of response that you want. But DBS is going to help to kind of fill a portion of that.
Yeah, with medications, you get the kind of sine wave effect of the medications being effective, then not so effective, then effective and not so effective.
I'll be darned.
With the DBS, the hope is that you can get a steady level throughout the day. And so you don't have to worry so much about the ups and downs, or what we call on and off periods associated with Parkinson's.
Tell me what Parkinson's actually is. Describe Parkinson's disease, Erica, since you are the expert in
Well,
running the Parkinson's Support Center for the city of Louisville, and thank you for doing that.
thank you. Well, of course, Parkinson's is a movement disorder, and we say that no one person that has Parkinson's is like any other person that has Parkinson's, because there's several different ways that it can impact you. And so, for instance, Steve was just talking about his tremor. We have, we call them our constituents that we see here, but they may be experiencing other mobility issues, from the extremes of not being able to talk because your voice is impacted, or
Right.
maybe not being able to swallow because those muscles, to walking and stiffness. And so for us, our organization, we don't necessarily focus on kind of curing Parkinson's, but we have a lot of individuals, about 14,000 throughout Kentucky and Indiana, who are living with Parkinson's. And it's what do you do right now while you're, in the process of seeing your doctor and hoping that someone will find a cure. We want to make sure that people understand that they can still live well with Parkinson's disease.
That's incredible. And it has been, up to this point in your life, something that you've been able to manage with medications and a lot of hard work and self-care, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was diagnosed in August of 2014, so just about 5 years.
Yes.
And when you're initially diagnosed, or at least in my case, you enter what they call the honeymoon period. Okay, I have Parkinson's, but I really don't feel like I have Parkinson's. I'm taking a couple of pills a day. I'm pretty much able to do what I normally do. I don't really feel affected all that much. But as time goes by, you have to increase the dosage, increase the frequency. You start getting side effects from the medication.
What kind of side effects do you see?
Primarily what they call dyskinesia. It's involuntary movement. So informally, we have the shakes, which are the tremors, and the wiggles, which are the dyskinesias.
And not to cut you off, but that's what most people can relate to when you think about Michael J. Fox.
Exactly.
I just was a lot of those movements are not necessarily the Parkinson's. It's the side effects of the medication.
And you said you took your medication to optimize for this interview, and I know Michael J. Fox doesn't take medications when he's going to go on TV because he wants people to experience with him what it's like to have Parkinson's. So he deliberately does not medicate to let those dyskinesias be very visible.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Where does CBD come into this mix?
Well, CBD comes into the mix much like it would for anybody. The effects of CBD or the health benefits of CBD are still being researched, frankly. But what we know as marketers of the Hector's brand and what consumers have told us is that the anti-inflammatory effects are as good as anything out there on the market. And I know from having done some work with Parkinson's in the past with another brand that I helped to co-found that the biggest thing that people with Parkinson's can do is to remain active, but in fact remain very active. In fact, the boxing demonstrations really blew me away a couple of years ago when I first saw those. So just like with anybody who exercises, inflammation's bound to follow.
Yeah.
So there's actually a couple of really interesting articles online I researched to just get a little more understanding about CBD and Parkinson's, and there's actually a really interesting tie to three things.
Which are they?
And there are three things that affect everybody, actually. Deeper sleep patterns. Many people take CBD at nighttime before they go to bed. From what I gather, sleep patterns are disrupted immensely, especially the more progressed the disease gets. Two is taking care of soreness and inflammation from hardcore exercise, based on what I've seen from the demonstrations. And the third is just an overall, and it depends. We've got several different iterations of how one would consume CBD that we can get into throughout the rest of the show. But internal digestion, just overall ease, lessening of anxiety. Many people say that is the biggest benefit that they get from taking CBD regularly. And that's generally in the tincture form.
Well, and having a disease like Parkinson's can certainly heighten anxiety.
Yeah, so just for anybody, but then you put the added a level of the need for all of that at a heightened level.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of CBD for myself and for my dogs.
Yes.
And the two properties that really have made a difference are inflammation in both of their spines, and believe it or not, in my big toes. I thought I had gout, and it was actually just the beginnings of arthritis from years of running, walking, doing taekwondo, and everything else. That inflammation went away, and I'm no longer in pain. And I had horrific anxiety from the depression that I went through a few years back. That was the last component. I could not kick the morning anxiety, and the CBD at night awakened me with peace.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that, my doctor was very, very supportive of taking it, even though doctors don't recommend things that aren't FDA approved and go through all that crap, But the fact of the matter is, being open-minded about something like that and looking at anecdotal evidence.
Yes.
And that's why I'm fascinated at the concept, and I'm so glad Caroline suggested that we talk to you about CBD and application of Parkinson's patients, because my God, the multiple things that are going on in your body.
Yeah.
And the way that this amazing disease impacts the brain and thereby impacts the rest of the body. I know that there are a lot of different things that you do. Now, besides the medicine that you take, how many different types of medicine does one take for Parkinson's?
Well, I can only speak to me.
Yes.
Like Erica said, we're all different.
Yes.
I only take carbidopa levodopa, and it's primarily to address tremors.
Is that all one word?
Carbidopa/levodopa.
Got it.
The brand name
Sounds like
is,
something Harry Potter would say.
Could be.
Carbidopa levodopa.
If only we had that magic wand.
Exactly. I wish we could
Yeah.
just. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's the one you take.
That's what they call the gold standard. It's been in place since, I think, the late 40s, early 50s. Quite some
Really?
time. Quite some time.
So the old
anyway.
medications can really have the most profound effect.
And what's happening now, it's just different ways to take it, whether it's injected, inhaled, pill form.
I'll be
And
darned.
so
Yeah.
we find it's the same medication that has been able to be helpful for the
Yeah.
Parkinson's community.
That's
They're just
amazing.
finding more creative ways to take the medication.
Incredible.
Yep.
And then the exercise routine, the boxing. We've laughed about that boxing because, I mean, you guys can take people out with those big gloves on.
Well, we have a wide range of abilities. And we have young people, 30s to the 80s.
Yes.
And we have them all in one class, and we accommodate them all. We have Jimmy just started with us. He's going to be 55 in December. But man, oh man, he can hit.
Obviously, you've been on the receiving end.
Yeah, we hold what's called focus mitts, and you hope they don't miss. You
Yes,
hope they don't miss.
exactly.
But yeah, it's a hard workout for everybody. It's
Yes.
a different workout for everybody.
What is it about boxing? Why boxing? Of all the possible sports and exercises.
I think two things. Two things for me is it gives you feel like you're fighting back against a disease. You're not being passive about it. You're attacking it. That kind of thing.
Empowering.
Yes. And the second thing, this is probably true with any group class, but the camaraderie, the social impact. It's too easy for people, especially when we get older,
Yes.
and especially when it becomes more difficult. It's too easy for people to become hermits
Yes.
and not get out,
Isolate.
and then you run the risk of depression and other things that just make things worse. So the idea is to get people off the couch into the gym, get them moving around, make them feel sore the next morning.
And see, look at this, TKO Parkinson's on his shirt right there with the big
Yep.
boxing glove. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And I would say, too, also for the boxing, we have a lot of other programs, yoga and fitness classes, but with boxing, there's several levels. And so, again, what we're realizing, there's a large number of folks experiencing early onset.
Yes.
So 40s that are now diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Amazing.
And your traditional yoga program, although it's a great exercise class, it's not as active as what they could be and probably should be. So boxing gives the opportunity to participate in the class at different levels.
Boy, and it is very active. There's no doubt about
It's
that.
full body too.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
it really
They're
is
brutal.
your legs, and the cardio is the least of it. Really,
Oh
it's
my
the
gosh.
reflex and the timing and everything.
And
What
the
little
target
I've done
and
of it,
focus. Yeah.
yeah, I need
Yeah.
to do more of it. Yeah.
Well, we try to challenge the brain as well.
Right.
Give them cognitive commands like, in this station we're going to do 2 lefts and a right.
Yes.
In this station we're going to do a left, right, and then we're going to duck. You know, and keep them moving, keep them making sure they're staying on pattern.
I love that.
I say they, sometimes I'm a volunteer, sometimes I'm a participant. So sometimes it's we,
Yes.
you know, but it's a great program. We've been very fortunate in the Louisville area. I just moved here 2 years ago from the metropolitan Toledo, Ohio area.
Wow. Welcome.
Thank you. I actually moved back. I was born and raised here, but long story. But anyway, we're very fortunate here to have a lot of private gyms that offer programs and some that offer free or reduced cost programs.
Great.
And we have, in addition to the exercise programs, we have other programs to challenge people like Feet to the Fire Writers Workshop,
Yes.
people do therapeutic writing, not only the manual therapy of writing things out longhand, but the cognitive therapy of organizing your thoughts,
Terrific.
communicating to other people.
Yes.
We have art, we have music.
Music therapy.
Yeah.
Steve is one of our choir members.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Impromptu choir.
Now, do you perform?
No, it's
But why?
well,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
have.
we
You have
have.
before.
We have.
You
Yeah,
have before.
good.
Well, I mean, if you'd like, I can play you our song, but we have one song, we mentioned sleeping. We have one song we call I'll Sleep When I Can,
Yes.
set to Warren Zevon's I'll Sleep When I'm Dead.
Dead.
But we've changed the words around, and we recorded it, and we performed it at a couple of Parkinson's fundraising events. And it's a lot of fun. It gets other people involved, too. So we got 5 different people singing lead, and we got a bunch of people in the background.
That's
so
wonderful. I
it's a lot
love
of
that.
fun.
Yeah, my Grandmaster Chase said to me, "You sleep a long time when you're dead." He sleeps about 2 hours a night, too. So let me say hi to some of the folks who are watching. Eric, thanks. Kevin, Arthur, Alan, Daniela Ames is watching us. James Green. Listen to this. Eric George says, "My dad, Craig George, had DBS done several years ago, and it was literally a life changer for him. Make sure you get the rechargeable battery."
I am.
Tell me about the rechargeable battery. This is the coolest thing.
Well,
it's
it's
kind of
just
like a
like-
pacemaker.
Technology advances in quantum leaps.
Yes.
Things will be going slow for a while, and then somebody will come up with a big advancement. So the latest, I've tried to do my due diligence and research what's going to be stuck in my head and in my chest. And the one that I've chosen is by Boston Scientific. There are other brands, Medtronics and some others. They're all very good, but the Boston Scientific has the rechargeable battery, and it's recharged via Bluetooth. You don't have to plug
Can
it
you
into
even
anything.
believe that?
No, we-
So you put like a bib type device on when you're watching TV or whatever, and wirelessly recharges your battery.
It's amazing.
So that was one of the issues.
Because
early-
the other option is you have to have surgery to replace the battery, right?
Every
2 or 3
couple of
5,
years,
7.
yes.
Wow,
yes.
though. Yeah.
depends
it's-
on how much juice is being used.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
say
so
I've
cool,
I've
though.
been here for 5 years, and it's amazing to see how technology has just
Gosh, yes.
given so many different treatment options. We had one DBS company, and now we have 3. You know, the battery life is changing. The actual leads and how they go into the brain is changing. I'll say to folks who are scared of DBS, National Geographic about 2 years ago, they did a live DBS, and you can just put it in Google and search. It was an 8-hour procedure, but it was really amazing to see them doing a brain surgery on someone that was awake. And you think about that, and so different doctors.
Yeah, will you be awake for this?
You
Dr. Rao, my neurosurgeon, prefers anesthesia. But I think in large part the ability to do it under anesthesia has been enhanced by medical imaging over
yes,
the years.
yes.
What are they going to do? You said they're going to actually drill holes in the top of your brain.
Well, they're going to.
Tara, you're going to scare people saying that.
No, I think it's fascinating, and I'm trying to figure out how to get into that surgical
Okay,
suite,
so-
man. I want to watch this.
What I tell people is, this may sound oxymoronic, but this is pretty much routine brain surgery.
Yes.
And it's always routine when it's on somebody else, right? But they've done many DBS operations, and they don't do it just for Parkinson's. They do it for other conditions, like
Sure.
epilepsy, for example.
Yes.
In fact, Dr. Rao, my neurosurgeon, has just performed one for epilepsy just a couple months ago here
Is
in
he here?
Louisville.
Yeah,
is.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
she's-
She is, yeah.
She's at Norton's.
Wow.
I'm in the Norton system. I'm sure the other systems have very fine
Great.
neurologists and neurosurgeons as well, but that's the system I'm in.
So,
Yeah, there. I met with this surgeon. Well, the good news is the
Doesn't
reason
she
they
makes you
could
feel
do-
well?
yeah, that's even better. The old-fashioned.
The reason
old-fashioned
they should-
Open up. Let's
Yeah.
put some CBD.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say the reason they could do it without anesthesia before, and they can still do it without anesthesia, is that there's not pain receptors
Right.
up
Yeah.
here,
Right.
so you don't really feel it. You may feel sore a couple days later from
Sure.
the sutures or
Sure.
whatever, but so yeah, what they do is they strap you down on a table, put your head in a vise, and drill 2 holes in your head,
See, it's easy.
and then they run these leads
Just routine brain surgery.
with contacts
Yeah.
down in here. And one of the big things that pointed me towards Boston Scientific was the ability to modulate the current across the 4 contacts on each side.
Wow.
Whereas up until this point, you have to pick one of 4 on each side. And so you don't really have the flexibility to go between all 8 contacts if you need to.
Deep brain stimulation.
That's what it's called.
And that's supposed to help to keep you from having those dyskinesias that we were talking about, those involuntary movements that
Yeah.
are so often identified as part of
Well,
Parkinson's, like Michael J. Fox, for example.
right.
That's amazing.
Eliminate the tremors without the added complication of dyskinesias.
Jonna Craig tuned in. Barbara Hood, thank you so much. Shannon Jones, Tom Walker, Rebecca Eves, Pam Leet, Lisa Schott. I was telling you about CBD just the other day. You're absolutely right. Lisa Schott has South End Barbecue. Wow, that's good barbecue. Bonnie Zeller of Animal Care Society, Karen Story, Julie Foley, Loretta Blattner. Oh, my high school classmate from Oregon is watching. Kip Wilson, Rita O'Hearn Smith. Thank you guys for tuning in to this special Take It From Tara. We have Jeff Stum, who is with us. Erica Branch is the director of the Parkinson's Support Center in Louisville. And Steve Walsh has Parkinson's and is about to undergo some pretty incredible cutting-edge deep brain stimulation surgery. We've been talking about the surgery, and we're kind of joking around about drilling holes in your head, but the fact of the matter is that's exactly what they're going to do, and it's going to make it a connection to an implanted battery that will be rechargeable, and the technology is fascinating. I want to move a little bit more to the alternative therapies that we've talked about, because we've learned about the medication that you take for Parkinson's, the Harry Potter incantation. Carvadopa, levodopa?
Correct.
Close. I knew that I was going to remember that because I remembered Harry Potter. This Hector's
Yes.
CBD, Caroline has given me a couple of those little tune-ups, one
yes.
for night and one for morning.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about the concept of taking CBD for starting your day and for ending your day.
Yeah, it helps to just kind of show how people generally take CBD.
Yeah, that's
It's
how I
by
take it.
the tinctureful.
Yep.
We do have that those 3 very specific things in our product line: a salve, a tincture, and a roll-on.
Yes.
For topical application, and then for the taking of. And I forgot to take mine this morning, so
There you go.
it's that simple. But it's also odd.
Do you have
it's a
different flavors?
We don't right now because our flavor, the aroma in the flavor is actually really nice. It's very clean too.
Oh,
we
yeah,
have
it
a
does.
really.
And you can put a peppermint under your tongue, I found out, if you don't like a
can.
particular flavor of whatever
We
flavor
are,
you have.
We're
Yeah.
working on a couple of really fun flavor iterations that some of the other CBD companies have not done yet, and I'll unveil those at
Take
the
a
appropriate
hit.
time.
I'll pass.
And then the
Well,
salve
I
is
found
topically
myself-
applied.
Yeah.
One of the things, early symptoms of Parkinson's, is you lose your sense of smell. So you handed it to me, and
Is that right?
and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Smell this. Anything?
Very little.
Interesting.
Very-
Here,
Yeah.
put some on your wrist. It's good for you.
And then with the roll-on, you can get very specific. Be it
I like
your
that. Try that,
toes,
Erica.
for example. So those are the traditional ways that CBD is applied or taken.
Eucalyptus.
Very much so. Yes.
Wonderful. Love eucalyptus for everything. Keeping your sinuses open as well as for
Yes, if
kind
you
of
can
a
smell it.
soothing, calming thing.
So that has been what has been the common way to consume or apply. So in about a year's worth of innovations and research and development, we came up with the first of what we hope will be several beverage iterations under the Hector's brand name. And the thing that we have out right now, just as of 2 weeks ago, is Hector's Tune Up and Hector's Tone Down.
Tune up and tone down.
yes.
That's awesome.
And with the Hector's Tune Up, it's really what we want to encourage is for people to take CBD every day. CBD has its best effect
That's what I
over
do.
time
Yep.
if you take it every day. I forget, just like I did with the tincture.
Yeah.
So for the tune-up, either in the morning or in the afternoon, if you need a little tune-up, we put 80 to 90 milligrams of caffeine in each one of these. So I think people, if they have some sort of immediate efficacy,
Yes.
may remind themselves, online we sell this in 30-day supplies.
Yeah.
So, if you see this in a store, you may just pop one to use in lieu of We're all natural as well. All of our
Another cup of
ingredients
coffee
are in
for
it.
the day.
Another
Yeah.
cup of coffee or a 5-hour energy or a Red Bull, something that's not great
Oh,
for
yeah, don't use that stuff.
you. This gives you a nice little caffeine bump, but you also get a daily. This bottle is equivalent to 1 dropper full of this.
Of the tincture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so 1 dropper full of the tincture. There's some education people need to do about CBD. This
Yes.
is full spectrum,
Yes.
which I think has the broadest effect
Yes.
on most people. But it also it can have trace elements of THC in it. We are using like 0.3% or less by law. It really is nothing that's going to make anybody feel overly euphoric, but it may have a calming effect and a relatively immediate calming effect.
Makes you hungry too.
Yeah, right. Well, honestly, people who take CBD every day, there is a dedicated research out there to people consuming CBD to overcome the effects of opioid addiction, and part of that is to calm people down and actually get them to where they want to eat.
Sure.
So it has that effect. With our tune-up and tone-down, we're using CBD isolate, which is THC free.
Yes.
It's completely taken completely out, but you still get CBD and CBDA, and it's 100% pure. So
Explain the CBD and the CBDA.
those are the 2 most common occurrences in the hip implant that provide the desired effects that you would want from an anti-inflammatory or some sort of relaxation agent. So it's naturally occurring cannabidol that happens in the hemp plant. It also happens in the marijuana plant. It just so happens, as this is processed down in the hemp that specifically that's grown in Kentucky, and we get ours from Barron County.
Yes.
It's a male plant, so it won't flower, so the THC levels remain naturally low, but it's tested throughout the growing process and bottling process to assure that it is 0.3% THC or less.
So I know you're not a doctor and you don't even play one on TV. And of
Ever.
course, everybody is always recommended to consult with your doctor
Yes.
before
Please.
you make any changes in any kind of medication or before you make any major lifestyle changes, a new diet or anything else. Always a good idea to check in with your
Thank you for
physician.
saying that, yes.
Yeah, whatever your physician is. If you're a naturopath, if you're a brain surgeon, if you're whatever. And I also know that CBD oil is something that has not really imprinted itself yet on the conscience of the medical community, and
True.
therefore people are hesitant to prescribe, or not to prescribe, but to endorse, suggested. And I think that brave doctors like mine, particularly, who said to me after watching me struggle with this anxiety for a period of time, she said, let's give it a shot and see what happens. We talked about it for a year, and when we saw the effects, it was quite amazing. So what kind of effects would you like to see if, let's just use Steve as an example. If a person with Parkinson's were to take this tune-up and tone down, which is pretty cute actually for Hector's, tell me what kind of effects you want to see on someone with Parkinson's.
As I was reading a bit and learning about the sleep patterns, I think the biggest effect for Steve and others would be our tone down, because there's 3 milligrams of melatonin in this product. Again, that's to encourage or in this case, nightly usage of something that has a nice flavor to it and isn't awkward to take, that you can knock back in a single shot or in a couple of different drinks. Get your melatonin kind of getting you rested, and yet then you still have the CBD that can work throughout your body while you sleep.
Now, you've told me that part of the problem with Parkinson's is that it disrupts your sleep patterns. So you can go to sleep, but you have a hard time staying asleep.
Correct.
Okay.
That's me.
So what do you take for that? What is anything helpful?
Well, I've tried melatonin. I've tried CBD. Nothing seems to be a long-term fix. I tried CBD for about 6 weeks because, like you said earlier, it's cumulative. You can't just take it once and have it kick in. It didn't seem to have the desired effect.
You had the wrong kind of CBD.
Perhaps.
It could
And,
be.
and you know,
It could be.
I'll share this story.
Yeah, the dosage is a big
But
thing too.
again, we're all different.
That's
That's
right.
correct.
We're all different.
I was one of those that was hesitant. You mentioned that doctors are hesitant to start to promote CBD.
Yeah.
And, for probably 2 years, I would get contacted by companies who are interested in just kind of educating the Parkinson's community. We had a fundraiser a year ago, and it shared a parking lot with a CBD dispensary. And it was funny. I was sitting there, and my folks just kept disappearing and walking across the street to the
I
parking lot.
remember that. Yeah.
And so I asked one of the gentlemen, I'm like, well, what are you all going over there to do? And it was during that time that I realized, well, okay, I'm here. I'm hesitant to introduce this because I don't really know all of the research and not quite sure what I'm promoting. But I can tell you that there was about 50% of the attendance that was there for that fundraiser that was going across.
Isn't
and so
that
this
incredible?
year, 2019 has been the first year that we've actually had CBD. I'm grateful. So again, while we're here, we're having a Living Well with Parkinson's showcase on
Yes.
December the 4th.
December 4th, I remember
at
that.
Melwood, and Hector's is one of our exhibitors there, and that's my thing. It's just, we can't just give out information. I need you to be there
Yeah, you
and,
need to see
be
it.
able to talk to folks and help to educate on why this product is different from those. And I want to have a name so when someone calls me, I can
Yeah.
say, let me.
Yes.
Yeah, and you don't.
Let me refer
I'm not bashing gas stations or anything, but
Well,
I would not recommend stopping at a gas station to buy your CBD.
Well,
That's just me.
and I'll say this, there's a couple just really solid points I'd like to make about transparency and how much garbage there is out there that is labeled
Tons.
CBD.
Tons.
In fact, if you order from Amazon, you will not get CBD. It will list itself as hemp oil. And basically what you're ingesting is hemp cooking oil, which has no effects whatsoever other than, it's not bad for you. It's like doing an oil pool remember when people were doing coconut oil
Yeah, but
pools?
it doesn't have the benefit.
It doesn't have the benefits. So Amazon
Did you
still...
get yours from Amazon, Steve?
No,
and for some people it does not have an effect on it really doesn't. But what is happening in the industry, and this is an industry-wide movement, it's going to be hard for your viewers to see, but
You've got
the QR code
Yep.
is being the ubiquitous thing around the country where you can click on the QR
here,
code.
our Vanna will be happy to show that to you.
And right now, if you click on our QR code on our tincture, it will take you directly to
That's good.
our COA that tells
Yeah.
you the purity statement,
Cool.
that tells you what the strength of the concentration is. And then we have just sent this off for testing. So once we have this, you'll know exactly what's in the bottle. Right
Yeah.
now, this links to the isolate that we're using to prove that we're using 100% pure isolate that has
Right.
no THC.
Well, there are several ways to market CBD, and as I said, gas stations, and then there's the little brick and mortar stores, and then there's the online thing, and then there are pop-ups. There's so many different places and ways to get it. But the most important thing to find out is how it is manufactured.
That's so true.
And there are some that are manufactured, believe it or not, with a process involving butane,
That's absolutely correct.
which is the nastiest tasting crap I have ever put under my tongue. And then there are cold press,
Yes.
and I guess CO2.
CO2 extraction is what botanical processing,
Exactly.
which is based here in town.
Which is very nice.
No, I'm sorry. And not only that, but then they take some other ultra purity steps,
Right.
winterization for one. The reason I like showing how pure and clean our tincture is, if you get tinctures, some of them are just brown.
Green and brown.
And they'll have globules in it.
Yep.
The winterization
Yep.
takes the lipids out, and it leaves behind a beautiful, really pure product. But I will say this, there are numbers of people who have tried CBD, Parkinson's or otherwise, who it just, it has not affected them. And that's because the human body is full of cannabinoid receptors.
Yeah, you just may
that,
not need any more.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
right.
Maybe I just need to hit you over the head with a hammer and make you go to sleep.
well, maybe.
Or go to
That's what I wanted
boxing.
to do That's what I wanted to do to
Yeah.
myself last night. I couldn't go to sleep to save my life.
Well, again, my issue is staying asleep.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
my pattern is 10 o'clock, go to bed, fall asleep right away, wake up at 2, I'm up for a couple hours, go back to sleep just about the time the alarm's getting ready to
Oh,
kick off to go
goodness.
to boxing class.
Eric and I are going to come over, and Caroline, and we're going to sing you to sleep all night. Every time you wake up, we will sing you back to sleep.
Well, that would be a great deal for me.
Except for she's a rocker. I don't know
Yeah,
that she
might-
knows many
she might wake you
lullabies.
up. I don't know.
To be doing her.
Yeah.
So Amy Heiser, Glinda Adkins, Bev Wethington, thanks so much. Jasmine Brewer, Bill Milby, Maria Miles, thanks for tuning in, you guys. I appreciate you. We're at the Parkinson's Support Center in Middletown. For those of you who didn't know it existed, yes, it does, and it's a great place for people who have Parkinson's and are living with Parkinson's to get support and have access to all kinds of incredible opportunities for exercise and psychological support, because this is a tough disease to deal with. And for many, many opportunities to learn more about your disease, to learn more about medication, and be introduced to the medical community, and in ways that you would just never imagine. You can have. Jerry Bloom is a really good friend of mine from WHAS, 840 WHAS newsroom days, and he's done remarkably, and has been the president of your board, and he and his wife Martha often tune in. So, oh hey Carmelita, good to see you. Glad you dropped in too. And his struggle with Parkinson's has been very real. And as you said, sometimes you get it and you have that honeymoon period and you think, I've got it, but I don't see it, so I can kind of put it on the back burner. Then it starts to rear its head.
Yes.
And you see the effects beginning, which is one of the main reasons you said, people said to you, why are you doing DBS? Because you don't really have the symptoms, but you're kind of being proactive.
Yeah, there's kind of a pet peeve among the Parkinson's community. If you don't see me shaking all over, without naming names, we go on TV for, promote something that's coming up or radio that's coming up. Almost without exception, the first time you're there, first 30 seconds they say, but you look good, Steve.
But
and so,
you look good.
Well, I know you have Parkinson's, but you look good.
My mother used to go to funeral homes, and she'd go, "Oh, they look so good," and I'd say, "No, they don't, because they're dead."
There you are.
Yeah.
But it's true.
The
you
whole
do
thing,
look great, and I'm very proud of you. But that's because you're boxing and you're taking your medicine and you're doing all the things you're supposed to do.
So one of the programs they had here was Feet to the Fire Writers Workshop. So I've been submitting a bunch of writings, and one of them was about this.
Excellent.
But you look good, kind of thing. And my canned response now is thank you. I'm working very hard at it.
You are. I can tell you are. I mean, he climbed up there and replaced a light bulb for me just a few minutes ago, which was awesome.
I didn't catch him before he did.
So when you talk about the various possibilities, one of the things that really strikes me as interesting is some people use anything that comes up in the alternative health community as a panacea. It's like something shows up and then all of a sudden it's working for everything. Hemorrhoids, ingrown toenails, brain tumors, whatever. CBD is known to do two very, very important things: reduce inflammation and reduce anxiety.
That's true.
And there are other applications I know, and we'll probably find out more and more and more.
Yeah, and the processing is getting more and more specific too. I lose count now how many they can actually pull from. I mentioned CBD and CBDA.
Yes.
There's a whole range of letters behind the CB that have very specific things. There are scientists out there, and not to mention processors and people who really want to make hemp move to the forefront of alternative treatments.
Yes.
And one of the things that I heard in a conference I was in Denver not even a month ago, and one of the things they're very excited about is how one of the CBD, let's call it G. I don't know what it is, folks. Don't go looking up CBD G for me. But the probiotic aspect of gut health.
Yes.
There's some really interesting research around that.
I would agree with that
and
too.
Many other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fascinating, brave new world. We had an event this weekend, a selling event at the Jewish Community Center. And
the Snowflake Shop.
The Snowflake Shop.
Huge success.
Yeah. It was actually, but what I'm struck by is in a setting, no matter what the socioeconomic setting is, people are curious about CBD.
Absolutely.
But they're terribly misinformed,
Yeah.
or they're uninformed altogether.
Yeah.
I live in the CBD world. It's like, well, everybody knows what this is. That is absolutely not the case.
No, and they do have misinformation, and I know there's a lot of fear around it, just like there was,
Yes.
around every major medication that's come out.
That's true.
I mean, remember when Prozac was introduced, and people were freaking out about, taking something that changed the chemistry of your brain, but it's become the gold standard for people who have depression
it's
too.
like the word Xerox now, Prozac, Xerox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is. So anyway, here's the deal. First of all, we're going to keep track of you.
All
and
right.
I'm going to find my way into that surgical suite if it's the last thing I do, because I want to see him drill holes in your head. And Erica, December the 4th, where are we going for this
December
event?
the 4th, Millwood Arts Center.
Cool.
People can call us here at the center, 502-254-3388. But it'll be a full day. We have movement disorder specialist Dr. Holliday from U of L.
Nice.
We have the Norton's physical therapy team.
Oh, they're great.
I'm bringing in a sex therapist, Daniela Whitman from Michigan. We have.
And why is that?
Well, that could be
Why-
fun with or
okay.
without Parkinson's.
Yeah, well, it is, but
That's
you,
great. I'm
when
just
you
curious.
when
Very
you think
knowledgeable,
about medication issues, all
Absolutely.
affecting sexual aspects of and within a relationship. One important piece, I was with a caregiver, and she said, you know, Erica, I cannot wait for her to come in. One of the things I'm really interested in talking about, she said, I'm a caregiver for my
Yes.
husband
Yes.
and have been for years. His Parkinson's is progressing. I see myself more of a motherly type of
Yes.
role. But then at certain times, I'm expected to snap off from that and
Yeah.
be
Click into being your lover again.
This lover again. And so when you think about the different aspects of how just sexual health affects,
Absolutely.
with one of the medications for Parkinson's, the side effect is compulsive behavior. So a lot of times you have relationships that go downhill because the person with Parkinson's is now, watching things on TV, and the care partner is feeling like, well, I'm taking care of you, so why are you looking for happiness outside of
Sure.
home? But you realize that that's just a side effect of
Right.
compulsive behavior that comes along with medication. And so
Right.
there are definitely a lot of things that you can learn from that.
Absolutely.
We have a patient panel that we're doing. This is our first time doing anything like this, but I have a gentleman who is 42 out of Evansville.
Wow.
He was diagnosed a year ago with Lewy body dementia with Parkinson's.
Wow. They describe that as a little
Parkinson's-
Pac-Man eating your brain.
It will progress pretty
Yep.
fast.
Yep.
And he knows that, and he wants to take this time. This is his first time talking.
Yep.
It's like I have to share my story for those who are still trying to work. And then we have some patient advocates that
Good.
are deciding to live well with Parkinson's disease by going around and advocating for their treatment options. And so what Steve did not say, and I would like to just shout out this,
Yes.
within the writer's workshop, we started that. Angela Burton, hi Angela. We started the writer's workshop about a year ago, and something amazing happened. People started to get comfortable telling their story with Parkinson's, so much so that I was getting letters, getting emails from people, and we started a website called yourvoiceatparkinsonscenter.org.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But Steve has been like our number one
I bet.
participant, and so something that he's doing now through his Facebook page is sharing his process through DBS.
Oh, I love
and
that.
and letting people know, as he go and take assessments and going through all of these stages. So when you say
Yeah.
you want to follow Steve,
I
he's
do.
making it really easy for us, and I think it's helpful to see someone on this journey and actually to be able to put a face and follow them. through
Terrific.
this, so.
I can't wait.
But December 4th, Millwood Arts Center.
All day. All day. What
Yeah.
time does
All
it start?
day. It starts at 9, but people can come starting at 8 o'clock. Again, you can call register. It's lunch is provided, breakfast is provided. We have
All
valet
free, Tara.
Yeah.
all free.
Yeah. And how long does it last?
valet parking until 3:30 p.m.
Wow, that's a great 6-7 hours of information and activity. That's great. Shauna Ross, Mary John Saletti, Greg Smith, James Ellifritz, Lewis Brown. Thank you for tuning in. Somebody just said I used CBD with Grendel, which was her dog, and it was amazing. And it is. It really. It truly. I mean, I
Agreed.
liked the tone down.
Oh, good.
I didn't take the tune up because I don't do any caffeine because God knows what would happen if I did. But the tone down was very nice, and I appreciate having an opportunity to try it, to see it. Now, I've been a pretty significant user of CBD for about the last year and a half, and as I said, it had a profound effect on me, and it has had a profound effect on my two male good-sized dogs who both had some serious back issues, and with a lot of other things. It takes a village. We've got a team of
Absolutely.
veterinary specialists serving our household now, but but the CBD has played a very big, important role in that. So
That's good to hear.
yeah, we're going to go on with our day knowing that first of all, you're in great hands with Erica and Parkinson's Support Center. I appreciate the fact that you are. I wish you the very best of luck with this
Thank
surgery.
you very much.
We're going to watch Steve Walsh. We're going to watch your page.
All right.
When
And
is your surgery?
It's actually PD Stevie Ray.
PD Stevie Ray. That's perfect. I like that. When's the surgery?
Well, I don't want to tell everybody when I'm not going to be in my house.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that's
that's true. Smart thinking.
Caroline's coming over to babysit the house.
Yeah.
It's coming up
Well,
in
then
a
I'll
couple.
tell you after we're
It's
off.
coming
That's
up.
funny.
Coming up in a
Let's
few
just
months.
say early 2020.
Yeah, coming up in a few months.
Perfect.
We'll get through the holidays and then we'll
Perfect.
talk about it too. And Erica, December the 4th is the big day, so come down to the Melwood Arts Center. And how can we find out more about Hector's?
Yeah, so just hectors.com without the apostrophe.
H-E-C-T-A-R-E.
Yes,
Hector's.
yeah. So every year, the state of Kentucky, the Department of Kentucky, Agriculture in Kentucky, issue land grants to grow hemp.
Yes.
We grew 1 acre this last year. We've been sourcing it on the open market to do this. Next year, it'll be our hemp that will be in this product. Next year, we're also planting 5 acres of hemp. So for every year that we grow more and more acres as our brand grows, we'll make donations to worthy causes like.
I love that.
And I'll give a shout out to Erica. I don't know you very well, but I've seen how well you run this organization.
She does.
It's awesome and impressive, and I love being a part of this, and I can't wait for the event. So.
And I know when you do the next fundraiser, there will probably be baskets of CBD products. That's part of the silent auction, the denim and diamonds. Yeah, I love it. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, CK, for getting us into it. Caroline Knopp with Simply PR. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you so much.